I think we are live right now. We should be rolling. I'm gonna get myself connected. Hold on, like stereo MCs. You get that reference? Come on, somebody give me a shout out. Stereo MCs. Gotta get yourself connected. What's up, everybody? I'm gonna be doing a little, very quick, short video here on braising. I just want to get myself watching myself so I can share this video onto my personal feed, and I think we are good to go. Okay, so I've got all my mise en place things in place. I'm going to be telling you guys a little bit about how to braise very simply. You can also hear I've got some maybe capoeira music in the background, so it's kind of capoeira kitchen here. Every Sunday I do a big family dinner for a client of mine, and they love meat. I don't personally eat meat, but I can still cook it. I ate it for 35 years, so I'm still pretty experienced and adept at doing different techniques with meat. But real simple today, we're just going to be doing a basic braise. Braising is a two-step cooking process. It is, if you're unfamiliar, basically a dry cooking and then a wet cooking. So that means first, you can see my beef here has a nice deep dark color on it, right? I got the, let me see if I can zoom in on that for you. Okay, so I got the beef nice and dark by searing it, pan searing it, and then turning it on all sides so that all sides are also nice and dark. It locks in the flavor, it locks in the juices, it creates flavor on the outside, and then we're going to further cook it, so this is not done yet. We're going to be submerging this in our liquid. You can see over here I've got two separate vessels for cooking with. I've got my traditional slow cooking pot, and then I've just got a regular stock pot here. Either one is fine, but what's most important is that whatever you're slow cooking is completely submerged. That means you want it completely under the liquid. I've also got my things I'm going to flavor my stock with. So I've got some nice beef stock here that I'm cooking with, and then I've got some mirepoix, I'll talk about that in a second, some chopped sun-dried tomatoes, and a little bit of roasted garlic. I've also got my seasonings ready to go over here. So I'm just going to take you guys through the process. So like I said, first I had a very hot pan, and I seared the beef on all sides. This is a beef chuck. So you want to make sure when you do a braise that you have a nice slow cooking meat. That means it's going to be some of the tougher cuts of meat, but over time when you slow cook it, all that toughness actually starts to break down, and you end up with a real nice tender piece of meat, and we'll talk about that more in a second. So I'm going to leave, just gotta take this off. So we've got the beef completely submerged in liquid, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. So you can see there, completely underneath the liquid, especially once we get everything else in there, we should be good to go. Look at that floating camera. All right, let me adjust the camera a little bit here more. All right, very good. So mirepoix is just tomatoes. I'm sorry, celery, carrots, and onions. I'm leaving onions out this time just because this particular client does not like onions. Cooked and then basically browned with tomato paste. So you can see it's got a nice deep dark color on it there. Okay, and I'm just going to be adding that right in to my braising liquid. I'm going to cook all this together. Then I'm throwing in some sun-dried tomatoes, already chopped up. Just kind of a little tip to make your cooking process a little bit easier. Use your food processor, unless you're trying to make perfect cuts and do a gourmet display. Food processor, you can do everything. Just chop it up right through, put in the next thing. That's how I did the garlic. That's how I did the sun-dried tomatoes, even the carrots and the celery. Just super quick and easy, rather than having to make a whole mess, cutting boards and all that. So sun-dried tomatoes, chopped up, a little bit of the sun-dried tomato oil in there. Throw that right in there. And then I've got some nice dark roasted garlic paste. I'm not going to use all this like you saw me do with the sun-dried tomatoes and the mirepoix. I'm only going to use a little bit because this is pretty potent. I also cook this in the beef oils and the fond. That means what's left over on the pan. So it's real dark because it's got a lot of that beef absorbed into it as well. Okay, so last thing here, I'm just going to season. So I'm using some just plain Italian seasoning, nicer brand, oregano, thyme, basil, all those things. Okay, season to taste. I'm sticking with Himalayan and the more pure salts these days. Nicer flavor. So I'm gonna put a decent amount of salt in there. We can always adjust that later. Fresh crushed black pepper. Just gonna be a more lively flavor than using something that's pre-ground. Okay, again, always gonna add more. Kind of just doing it for display right now. And then I've got some of this nice black coral salt here. Should get all my dirty dishes out here, make a more beautiful viewing experience. Okay, so some of this black coral salt, a little bit of that, and then finally I've got just some fresh basil, already rinsed, and I'm going to throw it in, stems and all. The stems actually have a lot of flavor. And then, that'll start to break down. I'm going to cook this approximately 6, maybe more hours. So I'm going to start it now. I'm going to get it on heat. The other thing with your braise is you want to make sure that you do have some sort of a cover on it. Okay, you can always cover it later. And then we can, later on, we'll reduce the braising liquid so that we can use that as our sauce to coat the meat. So I'm going to give you guys a view of what that looks like right now. Let's see if we can do this. Thanks. I think we're just going to do it this way. Okay. So you can see that the beef is completely submerged in the liquid. Like I said, I'm going to cover this, get it on heat, okay, bring it up to a boil, and then down to a simmer. And we're just going to let it slow simmer for, like I said, about the next 6 hours. I'm going to check it at about 3. In terms of our tenderness, like I mentioned earlier, what we're looking for is a fork tender. That means we can stick a fork in it and twist. That's how it's done enough, okay? So if you have any questions about braising, or just anything else you want to share, just let me know, and I'll be able to answer that for you. And I'll also show you, we're going to do a very quick video later on showing you the final result. Hope you guys enjoyed today. Thank you very much. This has been ChefKas. See you next time.